Hey guys, welcome back to another video with Lim Reviews. So in today's video, we'll be checking out the OnePlus 8T, and this is going to be a very in-depth look at a couple of features. So before I start off, I just want to say that I've been using this device as a part of my daily driver for the past 2 weeks. So there's a lot of things that I would like to share with you guys. Naturally, I'm aware that there is tons of reviews out there on YouTube, but in this video, I just want to share with you my take and a couple of items that wasn't really covered too much by other reviewers. So if you're looking to buy the OnePlus 8T, and just for your reference, I'm here in Malaysia. My unit here is the flagship device. It comes with 12GB of RAM and 256GB of internal storage. So the price here in Malaysia is 2,999 ringgit. So just 1 ringgit under 3,000. But yeah, let me talk a bit about my experience with this device. Alright, so I'm just going to breeze through the quick features that you already know. First up, we do have a very nice display at the front here, and this is a 1080p Super AMOLED display at 120Hz, so everything here is fluid smooth. Notice that I do have a matte screen protector on because it just makes everything even smoother, just for my personal preference. Apart from that, it does come with this flicker thing at the back, some kind of technology that actually makes the brightness levels on this device very comfortable for my eyes. So never at one point did I feel that the auto brightness was too bright or too low. It just works pretty well. So that's the display. It is a great display and I absolutely love the display on this device. Moving on, let's talk a bit about the processing power. So we do have, like I said, the Snapdragon 865 paired with 12GB of RAM. So of course, if you know me, I actually do game quite a lot on my device. I play mostly Mobile Legends, and this game is, I would say, pretty graphic intensive. I play it for about 1 to 2 hours on the daily actually, but yeah, so the thing that I noticed here is that the battery doesn't really go down too much, and the best thing about it is that it doesn't heat up or gets warm even after gaming for about an hour. So in terms of gaming on this device, we're definitely having sufficient power over here. Another thing that I want to talk about here very quickly is also the cameras at the back. Alright, so at the back here we have some pretty interesting camera sensors. I'll put up the specifications over here, but again, usually in my reviews I don't really talk too much about the numbers in terms of megapixels. What I want to share here with you guys is more on the camera samples. So naturally I did quite a lot of testing here because I've been using it for the past 2 weeks, and I've taken pictures under various environments that you will be seeing right now. So obviously I have some pictures taken with pretty good daylight and they work great. I also have a couple of photos here for you to see how it works when the weather is a bit gloomy, when it's a bit dark. Of course, I also have some indoor shots here as well. The wide angle images here are also pretty good. So a lot of samples here for you to evaluate how the camera actually performs under different lighting situations. So in a nutshell here, in terms of the camera performance, I'm pretty happy with what we're getting on the OnePlus 8T. Alright, so enough about the display, enough about how it works and the cameras. Let's zoom into a bit more different stuff here. So first up, I just want to talk a bit about that OxygenOS. So obviously, it is a very lightweight OS, and the good news here is that it doesn't come with a lot of bloatware that you can't uninstall. As a matter of fact, the only apps that it mostly came in is actually the Google apps. So for instance, like Google Photos, Google One and Gmail and all that you see here. So these are the kinds of apps that you can't actually uninstall on the device itself. So because I'm using these apps, so I find it actually okay for me. I don't see any other bloatware. Another good news here is that we don't have any ads going on in the device itself. So no ads here on the OnePlus 8T, unlike some other brands, some other manufacturers that you're using. They do come with ads, so that's something to note over here. Apart from that, this OxygenOS also comes with some pretty cool features that I kind of like. For example, we have this always on display right here, and it basically shows you the number of times you unlock your device. So if you look here, I've actually unlocked my device 41 times today, and it's actually trying to discourage you from, just keep on unlocking your device and all that. So I think that's a pretty cool feature. You might call it a gimmick, but I find this pretty useful just so that I try to unlock my device and try to stare less at my device on a daily basis. Right, so that's OxygenOS for you. Otherwise, everything is just buttery smooth, like how you would expect, especially with the highest end processor and this great display. OxygenOS really just flies on the OnePlus 8T. Alright, so moving on to my next point that I want to talk about here, and it's that fingerprint scanner. So I know we've seen a lot of in-display fingerprint scanners coming out this year, especially since we're all wearing masks these days. It doesn't really make sense to use the camera at the front for your Face ID or Face Unlock. Yeah, but the good news here about this fingerprint scanner is that it's just blazing fast. And one thing that I really want to note here is that it's not just fast but also very reliable. So In fact, just take a look at this. It's just so reliable, guys. And I really appreciate OnePlus for giving us this very reliable and also speedy unlock fingerprint scanner, because it just works, I would say, 98% out of the time. So that's pretty good here. Apart from that, guys, one thing that I want to highlight a little bit more here is the haptics or the vibration motor that comes in the OnePlus 8T. The vibrating and the haptics motor on this device is actually pretty nice. For example, we do get this kind of like soft kind of vibrations here and there. It's a bit difficult for me to show it to you through the camera or through this YouTube video, but it does come with these little vibrations here and there, unlike other devices. So it definitely feels pretty nice to handle this device. Every time you make some kind of interaction, there is just that little tiny little buzz at the back there that gives you a more compelling experience in such that you actually feel a bit of the user interface or the OS actually running on this device. So I really appreciate this good haptics motor on the OnePlus 8T. Alright, moving on to the next thing, of course, we do have this sliding button at the side as well. So that's another point that I want to highlight here. I know all of you guys are pretty much aware of this sliding button, but sometimes we just tend to take it for granted. But after using this for 2 weeks now, trust me guys, this button here has really grown on me. I'm so used to using this silent and vibrate button over here that it's become like I take it for granted really. So really appreciating the button here on the OnePlus 8T as well. Alright guys, so another 2 more items that I want to highlight here that, like I said, isn't really covered too much by other reviewers, and that's the speaker quality actually. So we do have dual speakers here, one at the bottom and one at the top, and the good news here is that the volume does get pretty loud, and I really like the sound audio quality coming up from it. It's all pretty good and definitely very much enjoyable on the device itself. So let me just open up a video very quickly right here, and let's just go into audio library and ramp that up. Alright, I'm just going to pause that music right here because yeah, it actually does sound pretty good coming from this device right here. The stereo speaker sounds great. It doesn't feel like tinny or those kind of like I don't know, like it just sounds like a pretty good speakers here in the OnePlus 8T. So I just want to highlight that because me myself, I watch a lot of videos on my phone itself, and sometimes I'm just too lazy to connect in some kind of earphones or earbuds. So yeah, I use the speaker quite a lot, and I'm pretty pleased with these speakers right here. Alright, so the last thing I really want to talk about here is about the connectivity test. Alright, so I do have a couple of devices with me. I do have an iPhone. I also have another brand smartphone with me, and I noticed that the connection on this device, for example, the Wi-Fi connection actually is very consistent. It's very stable. So I don't know how often you actually bump into situations where you actually don't get a decent wireless connection, or maybe you just feel that your device isn't getting the full speed coming from your internet package, for example. But yeah, I did install the speed test app into this device right here, and I got it to test it out. And the best thing, the good news about this is that the consistency and the speeds that I'm getting from the wireless connection on the OnePlus 8T is really, really good. So a very quick comparison between the iPhone that I have. The iPhone really just is just too slow. It's getting slow speeds even when no other devices are connected. So naturally, like I said, I'm very pleased with the consistency of the wireless networks coming from the OnePlus 8T. The connections were always fast and stable, even for downloading and uploading. And I think that's just something that I should like to point out as well. I'm not sure if it resonates with you, but it definitely feels good for me. Alright guys, I think that's pretty much it for my video. Like I said, I've been using this OnePlus 8T for the past 2 weeks, and I'm very, very happy with this device. It comes with this really gorgeous display. The high refresh rate is something that I really appreciate here. Very much can't live without it right now. It also comes with some pretty decent cameras at the back. We can't go to the extent by saying that this is the best camera out there in the market. There's definitely other cameras that's pretty good as well, but I would say that this camera right here is pretty acceptable. Apart from that, we also have a large battery in here, but the best thing is we do have this super fast 65-watt charger that comes in the box, and it's super fast. Like every time I charge it up, it's just so quick. Alright guys, I think that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. If you find this video helpful, maybe hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!